Welcome, class. In this lecture, I will be showing you how to find better sources through the USCA library. It is a valuable resource in more ways than you know, and although some folks can't access some of the books, there are still countless resources at your disposal. You can even get online help from a live librarian. At this point, you're probably saying that you don't need the library. You can use Google and get all kinds of sources. This is true, but you get what you pay for, which means that about 70% of what you will find on Google is complete garbage. Your tuition is already paying for all of these databases, which ain't cheap, so please take advantage of them and find the best materials you possibly can for your papers. Think of this as a scavenger hunt. Typically, it is easiest to start from the USCA homepage and just click on the link to the library. As you can see, there are numerous resources linked on the homepage. Please explore them at your own leisure. The ones that are most important for this class are how to ask a librarian questions, how to access databases off campus, and how to access subject-specific research guides. First, let's start with how to ask questions of a librarian. As you do your research, especially for more elaborate papers, you might need help finding sources. Just click on this link in the upper left-hand corner, and you have 4 options as to how you are able to chat with a librarian. If you contact them between 12 and 5 Monday through Thursday, you can chat directly with one. Or you can email a librarian, call one by phone, or stop by the reference desk on the Aiken campus with your foot power. If you know you are going to have a large research paper coming up, you can even schedule a consultation with a librarian beforehand. See? So many ways to get assistance, from experts even. The next thing you need to know, especially since this is an online course, is how to access USCA databases off campus. To do so, you just click on the Access Databases Off Campus link and follow the directions. 1. Access the library homepage. 2. Click on any link of any of the electronic sources. So once you get to your sources, this is where you need to pay attention. 3. The page below will display this little box. 4. Click Login with Network Username and Password in the Students, Faculty, and Staff box. 5. You will be redirected to this box from the University of South Carolina homepage. 6. Enter your username and password. For students, it's your Blackboard or email credentials. And 7. You should then be automatically redirected to the electronic resource you're selected to use. Make sure you keep these directions in mind as I get to my third thing. Lastly, and most importantly, you want to learn how to access databases. There are several ways to access the databases, but I recommend that you follow the link titled Research Guides. If you click the A to Z list, you will be faced with over 300 databases. That's a little intimidating. What the nice librarians have done is organize the various databases into what disciplines would find them useful. The one you should go to first for this class is literary criticism. As you can see, there are all the typical resources, but formatted for your convenience. Here on the literary criticism page, you can find various mediums from books to articles to websites. But you might be saying that you can look at websites on your own. This again is true, but the librarians have vetted these websites and decided they were good enough for our university's webpage. And remember, they're experts. They wouldn't steer you wrong. You can also find books, which may be of limited use in an online class, but keep in mind that many books in our collection, or e-books, you can upload and read from anywhere. Now, the place where people struggle the most is when they search for articles on the databases. Each of these sources is a good lead for your research. Now, instead of 300 databases, you have 14, and most of them you can whittle down quickly, depending on your subject matter. You may notice that you will find some of the same articles in multiple databases. Yes, there is some overlap, but there is also a lot of different material as well. Keep in mind, however, that most databases are formatted differently and use a different search engine, so you will have some you become more comfortable with. But don't let that keep you from searching other databases that might have a lot of good stuff too. So now, I will go through a quick search, so I can show you a trick or two that will save you time and pain. Let's go to Literary Reference Center, just because. You will see that since I am off campus, I get this login prompt. Remember what to do? Yep, I log in. Please look away from the screen. Okay, you can look now. So say I'm doing a Marxist criticism of We Real Cool by Gwendolyn Brooks. We type in We Real Cool and see what we get. Looks like there are 13 sources. Let's click on the first one to see a couple things. Here, you see not only information on this particular article, but you also have a lot of good leads under subject terms and keywords. This is good to keep in mind for larger projects or when you are struggling to find the perfect source. Remember, this is a scavenger hunt. But let's focus on this source for now. On the left of the screen, you see that there is a PDF file of the document. Typically, that is the best way to read a database article. It is basically a scan of the article that recreates pagination and formatting. This means you will be able to include page numbers when you cite your sources. On the right of the screen, we see various important tools. Of specific interest to you are the email feature and the cite feature. So if this source looks good, you can email it to yourself and save some printing. But before you email it to yourself, please make sure you set the citation style to the one you are using. In this class, that style is MLA. We fill out an email, a subject line, and press send. Now I have that waiting for me later. The cite tool is valuable in saving you time citing databases if you are not emailing them to yourself. Most databases will have these tools in different places. Look for them. Remember, citation tools do sometimes get things wrong, but those things are typically issues of formatting. Titles might be in all caps, things might not be italicized if they need to be, the order of the information might be slightly off. Relatively minor things. You have to double-check these computer-generated citations, but still, most of the heavy lifting is done for you. Like I said, each database is a bit different and will take some tinkering around to figure out. Don't be frustrated. First, calm down. Come up with a plan. Think of keywords and phrases, and if that doesn't work, think outside of the box a little. If you're doing Gwendolyn Brooks, you might find an interview by Gwendolyn Brooks on the poem. If you are looking at Marxist concerns in the poem, you might search for Marxist criticism. You might even look up to see what Marx has to say about Marxist criticism. You might research the subject matter of the poem. There are so many possibilities. And if you are still struggling, you can always chat with a librarian. Remember that. This lecture has only scratched the surface of what the library has to offer you, and how those offerings will make you smarter and your academic life easier. If you have technical problems, you need to get them fixed ASAP, as soon as possible. Click the Technology Help link on the USCA homepage and contact me if the problem isn't fixed quickly. Get to searching for the best sources you can. They're out there. At this point, It's just a matter of finding them as efficiently as possible.